Ever felt that pang of regret, wondering if you let a truly good person go? You're not alone. The experience of missing someone you once took for granted is incredibly common, and it's not just a fleeting feeling. It is a powerful psychological process backed by solid science. Today, we're diving into the scientific reasons why this delayed longing happens, especially why women might find themselves missing a man they previously undervalued. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding the complex machinery of our minds and hearts after a breakup. We'll explore memory biases, attachment theory, and how our brains literally rewire themselves after a loss. By the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer picture of why the past can suddenly feel so much more valuable. Let's start with a fascinating concept called the fading effect bias, or FAB. First identified by researchers back in 2003, this bias explains why our memories tend to get rosier over time. Here's how it works. The negative emotions tied to past events fade much faster than the positive ones. Think about a challenging vacation. Months later, you probably remember the beautiful sunset more vividly than the delayed flight or the sunburn. Your brain is essentially filtering your memories, making them feel more favorable as time goes on. A major meta-analysis published in Applied Cognitive Psychology confirmed this happens across different cultures and situations. But here's the key part. The study found that this effect is especially strong for our romantic memories. So, what does this mean for breakups? It means that after some time has passed, the daily annoyances, the little arguments, and the reasons you felt bored or dissatisfied start to fade into the background. What comes into focus are the good times, the laughter, the comfort, and the feeling of connection. Practical traits that you might have overlooked, like your ex's dependability or their quiet kindness, suddenly gain a lot more weight. When you're faced with solitude or the challenges of dating again, your brain begins to idealize what you lost. That partner who once seemed predictable might now be remembered as the irreplaceable source of stability you didn't appreciate. This isn't you being illogical, it's your brain's natural tendency to reconstruct the past in a more positive light. Next, let's bring in attachment theory. Developed by John Bowlby and later applied to romantic relationships, this theory provides a powerful framework for understanding why we take supportive partners for granted in the first place. Our attachment style, formed in childhood, dictates how we connect with others. People with a secure attachment style tend to appreciate their partners consistently, both during the relationship and after it ends. But for those with insecure attachment styles, it's a different story. If someone has an anxious attachment style, they often fear abandonment. Paradoxically, this fear can lead them to criticize or devalue their partner as a way to preemptively protect themselves from getting hurt. On the other hand, someone with an avoidant attachment style tends to suppress their need for emotional closeness. They might downplay the importance of the relationship to maintain a sense of independence. A major review in Personality and Social Psychology review found that people with these insecure attachment styles experience much stronger distress and longing after a breakup. No matter who ended it. Why? Because the breakup shatters their defense mechanisms, the loss of that supportive figure, even one they pushed away, disrupts their ability to regulate their emotions. Scientific studies measuring stress hormones like cortisol have shown that losing an attachment figure causes real, measurable psychological distress, even if the person didn't seem to value the relationship while they were in it. The very person they kept at arm's length was subconsciously acting as their emotional anchor, and now that anchor is gone. Now, let's address a common question. Do women miss their ex-partners more than men? The research says no, not necessarily, but it does reveal that we tend to regret things differently. A foundational study on regret found that women are more likely to experience inaction regrets. These are the regrets about things we failed to do, like not expressing enough appreciation, not investing more emotionally, or not fighting harder for the relationship. Men, in contrast, tend to report more action regrets, which are regrets about things they did that led to the breakup. In the context of romance, follow-up studies have shown that a woman's regret is often tied to the loss of a partner who had strong long-term qualities. We're talking about reliability, emotional availability, and kindness, the very traits that build a stable future. This feeling of regret gets amplified when a woman initiates a breakup, expecting to find something better, only to discover that the dating world doesn't easily offer that same level of emotional safety and support. It's in the comparison that the true value of her former partner becomes crystal clear. It's not that she didn't know he was a good man, it's that she didn't fully grasp how rare and valuable that combination of traits was until it was gone. So why does this intense feeling of missing someone often arrive late, sometimes months after the breakup? The answer lies in our brain's response to romantic loss. Groundbreaking neuroscience research using fMRI scans has shown that breakups activate some very powerful areas of the brain. They light up the same reward pathways associated with addiction, which explains the intense cravings we can feel for an ex. At the same time, they activate the brain regions responsible for physical and emotional pain. It's a double whammy of craving and suffering. Initially, right after a breakup, many people enter a stage of emotional numbing or distraction. They focus on the newfound freedom and push away the negative feelings. This is when the fading effect bias starts its work, slowly softening the bad memories. The real longing often kicks in later, during what researchers call the comparative phase. This happens when you start dating again or observe other relationships and realize that the emotional safety and deep connection you had are hard to replicate. Suddenly, the new person you're with highlights the emotional gaps left by your ex. Your attachment system, which has been dormant, roars back to life, seeking the comfort it once knew. This is also when you might enter a symbolic longing phase, where your ex comes to represent more than just a person. They symbolize stability, a part of your identity, or the future you were building. You're not just missing them, you're missing the person you were and the life you had with them. A longitudinal study found that the key to resolving these feelings isn't just the passage of time, it's the process of meaning-making. It's about actively rebuilding your identity outside of that relationship. People who struggle to do this, who can't figure out who they are without their ex, are the ones who report the strongest feelings of longing and idealization. They get stuck mentally replaying the past because they haven't built a compelling future. It's important to note that while many people experience this internal regret, only a minority actually act on it by trying to reconnect. For most, it remains a silent, internal process of reevaluation. So, to bring it all together, what does the science ultimately tell us? Missing a partner you took for granted is a complex and deeply human experience. It's not a sign of weakness or a sudden, mysterious return of love. It is a predictable psychological phenomenon driven by powerful forces. First, the fading effect bias rewrites your personal history, making the past seem better than it was. Second, the disruption of your attachment system triggers a primal need for the emotional security you lost, even if you didn't consciously appreciate it at the time. Third, your brain's pain and reward systems go into overdrive, creating a state of craving and distress. And finally, if you struggle to reconstruct your sense of self, that longing for the past can become a central part of your emotional life. The most empowering takeaway from all this research is that recovery isn't about getting your ex back. It's about understanding these internal processes and focusing on self-expansion, emotional integration, and personal growth. It's about building a new identity and a new future that is so fulfilling that the past, no matter how rosy your memory makes it, can't compete. Understanding the why behind these powerful feelings is the first step toward moving forward with wisdom and compassion for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more insights into the psychology of our lives. We'll see you in the next one. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video.